thoughts on this. Here we are, almost 2 years since this beautiful tiger shark washed up dead on Juno Beach during the last day of the Big Hammer Challenge. This is the exact shark that called us to action and soon after brought us to the FWC Commissioners meeting in Orlando in July of 2017. At that time, we asked for a total ban of fishing for large sharks from shore. A couple of months after that commissioners meeting, we were privileged to have the opportunity to meet with Commissioner Soule. We were excited and humbled to have this opportunity. However, we left that meeting feeling discouraged. Commissioner Soule felt it was best to address the problems within this fishery through outreach and education only, while we were convinced that this is a community that simply could not be educated. But looking back, we did accomplish so much that day as we listened to each other and most importantly, recognized that there was still so much to learn, and we all did. Not long after that meeting, about 8 months later, Commissioner Soule and his fellow commissioners directed staff to move forward with the regulatory process to address the problems within this fishery. At that time, our group was no longer asking for a total ban of shore-based shark fishing. We now understood the importance of education and respecting the rights of other stakeholder groups, even if it might not be in alignment with our personal values. And here we are today with reasonable regulations that combine both education and the need for regulation. Together we learned, and together we compromised. Now for a message to the shore-based anglers. While compromise is important, so is the ability to accept responsibility. One consistency throughout this process has been the overwhelming inability of the shark fishermen to take responsibility for their actions. Many of the anglers have focused on tree huggers, rich beachfront condo owners, and uneducated tourists as the source of the public outcry and attack on their sport. I stand here today to say that you are completely wrong. This could not be further from the truth. The actual motivation and driving force behind this most recent push has come from ordinary folks and scientists who are simply fed up with the unethical and irresponsible angling practices on your group. Your community fueled this fire. We too are Florida sportsmen and recognized the need to do something. The videos that have surfaced of shark fishing on holiday weekends on crowded beaches, the ridiculous keyboard warriors slamming anyone who challenges your behavior, the inability to self-regulate, to educate within your own community, the blatant disregard and disrespect for sharks, and the large amount of dead sharks washing up on our beaches on a regular basis is exactly why this has happened. Not because we are PETA or hippie freaks. We represent what Florida strives to be, ethical anglers, respectful of the natural resources that we all share. Now it's your turn, shark fishermen, to do the right thing. The Sallys, the Wenzels, and the Mark the Sharks of the world will no longer be tolerated. This attitude is out of style, and thankfully, we see more and more ethical sportsmen calling these folks out on their irresponsible, attention-seeking behavior on their very own social media pages. Not the PETA or the hippie freaks that the antagonist in Miami so often likes to hashtag, but fishermen, his very own peers, calling him out. Thankfully, he's getting less and less attention on his posts for his unnecessary antics. Keep unnecessarily killing the sharks, Mark, and you will see exactly how this impacts all fishermen. Catch and release, when possible, is a really important concept, something that he doesn't seem to comprehend. But the ethical anglers, especially those that depend on the ocean to make a living, do understand and are distancing themselves from his type. It's simply not cool anymore. Thankfully, Guggenfest tournaments such as the Big Hammer Challenge, which alone in 2017 resulted in 8 prohibited species of sharks washing up dead, and those are only the ones that we know about and were reported, is not taking place this year, and hopefully will be a thing of the past. The hope is that if shore-based shark fishermen can once and for all accept responsibility and recognize the problems within their own community, then we can stand a chance of seeing better results through the combination of education and ultimately the new regulations. Perhaps then a good part of the user group conflict will be minimized, and the PETAs and hippies will be silenced, and the ethical, responsible anglers of the state of Florida won't have to clean up your messes. As you quietly fish under the security of the nighttime sky, we can only hope that you do the right thing and that you make the right choices to conduct yourselves in an ethical manner to ensure that the fragile sharks that you fight and land stand a chance to survive. Move down the beach when people are present. Don't stay simply because you were there first or because you can. Learn to pick and choose your battles. Learn to compromise. We hope that your takeaway from this regulatory process isn't simply to carry on as usual and simply not post on social media. We truly hope that there will be education, better choices made, a cultural shift within your community, and not simply to move underground only to carry on with business as usual. We all know that enforcement is a huge challenge for FWC as their resources are limited. Humble yourselves, take responsibility, and never forget that you all caused the problem. Now learn and do better under the direction and guidance of the FWC. This is your opportunity to save the sport that you are so passionate about. Make a difference and prove us wrong. I want to end by thanking my mom for helping to guide me in a direction that I am so passionate about and for always being the best possible role model for me to look up to. Thank you, FWC.
Thank you, Jenna.